Hey, what's going on guys and girls? Alcoholic Phoenix here and welcome to the official culling patch overview. So let's jump straight into it. West Coast North America servers are now finally live. For all the people on the West Coast who had a bad ping on the East Coast servers, now you can enjoy a decent ping. They have updated the menu crafting UI to show all the new changes they have made to funk values, but we'll go over that later on. Shoving now costs 10 stamina per shove, down from 20 that we saw in the test servers. You can shove 10 times, and you can also still shove when you are completely out of stam. Obviously, you just will not regenerate any stamina. Blocking no longer drains stamina, but you don't regenerate any stamina while you are blocking. The funk reward for killing another player has been increased to 40, and the plus 15 bounty per kill still remains. They also fixed a bug where controls would become unresponsive when a player was in a low stamina state. I've had this happen to me before and it's incredibly frustrating. But now for the rest of you that haven't seen my last 3 videos on the test server, I will show all the new changes in this one video. So if you have seen those videos, you can click off now and go down the culling and start slaughtering your enemies. But for the rest of you, let's jump straight into it. All weapon attack animations and timings normalized to match the 3 speed weapons. Weapon speed rating applies only to the charge time. The goal with weapon speeds is to provide consistent attack control feel for all melee weapons, equivalent to the early access launch build, while requiring greater skill to maximize charge attack damage against a staggered opponent using slower weapons. Shoving an opponent who is not blocking will no longer visually appear to damage the receiving player. We think this was confusing some shove players into believing that they had been attacked, which naturally led to blocking, which encouraged spamming of the shove. And again, shoving now costs 10 stamina instead of 3. This is intended to make players more judicious with the shove, as it is the only combat action that doesn't have a staggering counterplay. They fixed an issue where charging an attack did not yield a consistent linear increase in damage. Damage scaling now matches the charge level shown on the HUD charge indicator. So basically, you would charge it up to half, and instead of doing what it was supposed to do, let's say 15 damage, it would just not scale up at all, so you'd end up just doing 7 damage. So they have corrected that. Correctly match some weapon-specific animation timings for combat interrupts that show you returning to idle before your stagger was complete, giving the false impression that you could take action while you were still stunned. And they also reduced the window where players were vulnerable to shove after dropping their block. There was roughly a 1-second delay on the block once it got dropped, and that was to prevent people who were trying to block bait earlier on in the game's life cycle, so they have fixed that. Damage will now interrupt the stagger state, preventing players from landing multiple consecutive jabs on a staggered opponent. You must now charge your follow-up attack to maximize your damage. It's very hard to get this in bot, so I'm sorry I haven't really got footage of this. They also slightly increase the period of time after launching an attack where the game checks to see if the attack is striking a target, making it easier to land attacks in some situations. By the way, this bot was a beast at blocking. Reduced and standardized the time after completing a combat action, attack, shove, or jab before another action could be taken. They also remove the ability to instantly transition to a shove when cancelling a charged attack via blocking. Shove cancelling is still possible, but there is a brief transition period. It's about 0.25 seconds. Added a brief minimum block time when executing a block to increase the risk of tapping and releasing block to bait a shove from the other player. Okay, so now let's move on to funkonomics. We want to slow down the weapon progression in matches. The current 50 funk cost to open a blue crate is trivial and has a decent chance of equipping you with a tier 4 weapon within the first few minutes of the match. Our goal is for each tier of weapon to have its place within the match progression, with tier 4 melee weapons and guns appearing closer to the finale. We've made several changes to nudge things in that direction. Tier 1 and Tier 2 weapons are obtainable early and should be valuable during the first half of the match. Tier 3 weapons are harder to reach because the funk cost of blue crates has increased. Tier 4 melee weapons and guns are only available through airdrops and match events, and the cost of those airdrops are significantly higher. Blue crates now cost 100 funk to open. They were previously 50, and blue crates no longer have a small chance to spawn a tier 4 melee weapon or a gun. Gold crates have replaced the blue crates near the central arena. They cost 200 funk and contain items that might give you an edge if you have the funk to spare going into the final stages of the match. Examples are body armor, orange juice, dynamite, medkit, explosive runs, stamina boost, muscle man milk, or iron foreskin, all with an equal chance to drop. We've done a full pass on the airdrop values, with tier 3 weapons generally requiring 100 funk and tier 4 weapons generally requiring 200 funk. If you want to see a full list of airdrops, there is a Google Sheets document down below in the description to check out. They have increased the cost of the crafted knife to 7 funk, but they have reduced the crafting cost of the spear, hatchet and cudgel to 0 funk. Crafted explosives now require 30 funk to craft, damage has been increased to 35 from 20, and radius has been increased to 6 meters from 4 meters. This increases the time required to open a red crate at the start of the match. You will also now collect 5 funk for destroying any red barrels. That will help fight those pesky gun owners. Ammo reload for guns now costs 100 funk, previously 75 funk. Funk recycle value for all crafted melee weapons have been normalised to 4 funk. The Loot Pinata event now spawns 1 crate instead of 2. As you can see on my screen, there is only 1 crate in the sky. Stun guns now spawn in green crates and no longer spawn in blue or red crates. I opened so many green crates, could not find a stun gun, so unfortunately I don't have footage of that. The stamina stim has been taken down a notch. It is now only going to last you 30 seconds instead of 2 minutes, and also relating to stamina, stamina regenerates faster in most situations now. Crafted blowguns have now had their ammo reduced from 9 to 6, and they have also had their sickness duration taken down from 15 seconds to 10 seconds, and it will only allow a single vomit per sickness instead of 2. They have removed the interrupt stagger when being struck while holding a ranged weapon. You will still be disarmed, but as you can see, a second I was disarmed, I could still punch this guy in the face. Golden arm bonus damage now scales with charge percentage. No bonus damage is applied, as you can see on your screen, if the throw is not charged at all. Golden arm previously applied its full bonus regardless of the charge level. Now you have to charge it to full if you really want to wreck someone. If you just do a quick throw, you will not do really any extra damage at all. Of course, if you stuck around this long, you probably have not seen my previous videos. As you can see, on the bridge now, you can walk along this side railing, so you do not fall. Kind of ruins the idea of the bridges being able to be pulled out from under you, but I guess there is now a way to save yourself. Also, as you can see on your screen, there are airdrop pads now on the bridges. They will spawn straight above you, so very useful if you do not have load dropper on to get your package efficiently and quickly. The Cyclops airdrop has been nerfed. It now includes steel snares instead of an orange juice. And also, the Trident's damage has been reduced to 927, previously 1030. Unfortunately, these next few things I'm going to go over is very hard to test without having somebody in a private match with me actually testing these out on me, but I will tell you anyway. Axes felt weak compared to spears, so the exposed wound was increased to 10, 15 and 20%, previously 5, 10 and 15%. They also felt blades felt weak compared to spears, so the bleed wound damage was increased to 6, 10, 14 over 10 seconds, previously 4, 8, 12 over 12 seconds. Also, damage to stamina caused by mangler and submission perks have been reduced to 50% of the weapon damage, previously 135%. They have increased the chainsaw's damage. I believe I saw something on Reddit that said it could be between 14 and 15 DPS a second, up from 7 DPS. It also revs extremely fast. No more just pull, pull, pull. It's you like that? So it's been increased. It also feels like it does a slight stun lock on opponents. They kind of flinch, and it makes me think that it does do some form of stun lock. Okay, so they have unlocked the max FPS by default. They've also made the shadow quality at low now have even greater performance optimizations by reducing shadow resolution and accuracy. Shadow quality at high now includes greater accuracy in shadows and will incur additional performance costs. As you can see, they have revised the scoreboard to make it look much nicer. As you can see, the red skulls that pop up on the left-hand side of people's names when they die. It looks great, clean, and beautiful. They have also changed the location of the healing station at Radio. It is now on the opposite side of the building. It is no longer on the same side as a recycling machine, and they have also added some brand new voiceovers for the medic stations.
A healthy mouth makes a healthy body. Please do not put your mouth on this machine. hope you feel better. Every time you use a health station, we donate a portion of your spent funk to my education. Today, I learned I have a lot of funk in my account. Math!
I've also noticed this. There is this tunnel on the southwest west side of the map behind radio at the far end. I don't know what this is. We obviously can see it's a tunnel, but we're not exactly sure what it's here for. Also, if we go back inside, there is this grated tunnel over here that we cannot get through. You can see that there's another grate in front of it and then another tunnel further down. I'm not exactly sure what this is for, but hopefully we'll find out in the future. Okay, so that is pretty much everything. There are a few more bug fixes in the patch notes. I will leave the blog with the patch notes in the description below if you want to have a look at them. So that is pretty much it. Thank you for watching. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed it, and remember to subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you for 300 subscribers. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate Xavier for tweeting me out and helping me get well known. Thank you guys and girls for watching, and have a lovely day, alright? Peace!